So now I will be discussing the cybersecurity threats. I already discussed with you that keeping your data safe is extremely important for a number of reasons. The number of reasons are because it can be your personal data, or if you want to keep your personal data protected, or it can be your commercial data as well, such as your bank card details or passwords. So data can be corrupted either the way. It can be corrupted or it can be deleted through accidental damage or by any malicious act. So it's really important to have the cybersecurity protection against it, so that you can protect your data from being intercepted. Intercepted means that it is safely protected at one end. So I have a number of cybersecurity threats. Like the first one is a brute force attack. Then I have the second one is the data interception. Then some of what we discussed already. Then in the last class, I started with the brute force attack. I discussed with that a brute basically means that when you have a number of attempts. So in brute force, what really happens is that if you want to hack or crack into anyone's computer's password, so you just try all sort of combinations of letters and numbers to just know that what the password can be. So it's like you are guessing the password, or you are just like creating a word list or something, and into that word list you are like adding all of your all of the combinations of passwords, right? Then I have the second part. In the second part, it's like the data interception. And data interception is basically a way of stealing data by tapping into a wide or wireless communication link. So it's like when you are sending data from one place to another, and your data security is compromised. So it's like used to steal the data, or get the data through when it's being transmitting. So interception happens through a packet sniffer. A packet sniffer is the one which examines all of the data that is being sent through one place to another, and then it just intercepts the data from one point. So to protect from this part, I discussed with you that we can use encryption, but again, encryption is one of the method that makes it difficult for the life of the hackers, but it does not certainly stop hacking. It just means that if you have encrypted it, it would make your data meaningless, but still there is a risk that your data can be lost. To protect this, we have one of the encryption protocol I discussed, that is WEP, which means wide equivalence privacy encryption protocol, security protocol. You can either use firewalls, you can make a strong password. So that's it. Then I discussed with you the distributed denial of service DDoS attack, where it prevents from users from accessing parts of a network. It's like it's prevent users from accessing an internet server or something like this. So it can be damaging within a DDoS attack, because what really happens in this, because you just flood the network with useless spam traffic. So it's like if someone is accessing their email, accessing their website, or accessing their online service, they won't be able to do so, because there is a lot of spam traffic generated, which might slow down the website or slow down the server. To protect from this part, we need to use an antivirus, anti-malware, set up a firewall, apply email filters to save ourselves, or have a very slow network performance. Like these can be some results of it. Like if your network is not working, like you are not able to access website, so this you it can be said that you are the part, or you are the victim of this attack. Then what is hacking? Hacking is very of the simplest term. It is generally just a way of gaining illegal access to a computer system without the user's permission. So that means that you are gaining the access without the permission. That involves theft, deleting, changing the passwords, corrupting that. So again, we can use encryption, but again, I would say that encryption would not stop it from deleting and corrupting. But hacking can be prevented, by the use of firewalls, usernames, frequently strong passwords, and all of that. So we have malicious hacking as well. We have ethical hacking as well. So ethical hacking is done when it's being used for the good part, but you have malicious hacking when it is used for the illegal acts. So maybe a company can hire you in terms of an ethical hacking to test their computer. So this will come under the title of ethical hacking. Then after it, I have the malwares part, and in the malwares part now, we are going to discuss different types of risks, security risk associated with that. So malware is one of the biggest risks, like to the integrity or security of your data into a computer system. So I have a number of malwares available, such as viruses, ransomware, adware, spyware, Trojan horse, and worms. So first, I'm going to start with the virus. So for example, if there is a question of viruses into your exam, so you can basically write that viruses are basically programs or program codes that are replicating itself. That means that they are generating a copy of themselves, and the intention of that is to delete, copy, or corrupt the files by causing the computer to malfunction or harm. So if there is any program that replicates itself without the user's intention or to corrupt the computer system, it's a virus. However, a virus always needs an active host program on the target computer. That means that the virus has to be active on that operating system that he's trying to affect, because they so that they can run and they can cause harm. So viruses are often sent through emails. They are most probably on your websites or infected software's download. So it's most probably that you don't should open up any email or any software without you if it is not a trusted source. After virus, I have the worms part. So what are worms, or what is the difference between worms and viruses? Worms are basically a standalone malware that self-replicates. Like their intention is to spread to other computers and corrupt the whole network. But unlike viruses, like you would say that, so it's the same as viruses, but what's the difference? The difference is that now worms don't need an active host program to be opened in order to do any damage. Like if a computer is infected with a virus, so it is most probably that someone opened that virus, or if there is still an active host into that program. But when I'm referring to a worm, the properties are same, but it's different that they do not need a host program to open. By host program, I mean that if I'm having an application or something. So they remain inside applications which allow them to move throughout the network, and worms replicate with themselves without targeting and infecting specific files. This means that they can infect your whole computer. They rely on your security failures or within the network. Worms also frequently arrive as message attachments as well, and only one user opening a worm invested email could end up by the whole wire network being infected, because worms travel so fast. The worms can be
Sir,
one of the biggest problems.
sir, can you get some examples of active host programs?
Active host program are basically those programs that you download into your computer, but they are sent to quarantine or they are deleted just at that exact moment. The point is that if you do not have an antivirus and if you are going to run that program or that exe file, so that is going to be considered as an active host program. Active host program means a virus and application that is under process that is inactive, because actively they can create their replicas, actively they can create their copies.
So basically, files.
Yes, yes, I mean it's the executable files.
Okay.
So you see that whenever you install an application or you download a game or something, it's like .exe file. So exe file is the one that is executable, or you can call it then as an active host, but it has to be activated. But in most of the cases, your Windows antivirus turn it off, so it does not works well. Then I have Trojan horses. So Trojan horses are the one which is often disguised as a legitimate software, but with malicious instructions embedded on it. So someone would might think that it's useful, but it is not. So a Trojan horse can like replace all parts of a legitimate software with the intention of carrying out some harm to the computer system. So someone would might say that this is useful for them or they can like utilize that, but it is not. So they have to be executed by the end user, and therefore it usually arrives as an with an email attachment or download from an infected website. For example, it could be transmitted by a fake antivirus program that might pop up on the user computer claiming that your computer is infected and you need to install the program. You might have seen that as that well that there are numerous ads that just keeps on popping on website that you have win this and this security, this and that. So they are the one that just basically trick the user to download thinking that that software is worthy enough, but that is not. Because once that program is installed, The Trojan horse will give the cyber criminal access to all of your personal computer information on your computer, such as your password, personal data, IP address, each and everything. Then I have the spyware. So spyware, as the word says, like it's the one that gathers information by monitoring a user's activity carried out on their computer system. So what will a spyware do? It is going to spy everything that is being performed. So they gather information, is sent back to the criminal who originally sent with the spyware. So they are basically designed to monitor and capture your web browsing and your activity so that you can easily see them. Some examples of that are such as bank account numbers, passwords, credit cards, debit card, and all of them.
Right, but you need to download the software first, right?
Hmm?
You need to download the spyware software first, right?
No, just as you download the antivirus, and antivirus is always comes packed with an anti-spyware, anti-worm, all of that. So you just download antivirus and it comes up with each and everything. You don't need to download them separately. You can do if you wish to,
No,
but it's not recommended.
no, but like, how can like spyware be installed in your computer?
Spyware can be installed into a computer by, for example, if a user clicked on a malicious link, or maybe a user opened a malicious file. So it starts to install onto your computer system, and once it is installed, then every activity that you perform will be sent to the hacker.
So what does malicious mean?
Malicious means viruses, harmful softwares.
Okay.
Then I have adware, and as the word says, adware. Now these days, whenever we use our mobile phone, it's quite common that we see a lot of ads on our computer system. So adware is also a type of malware. Malware means it's a malicious software. As it is least danger, it is going to attempt to flood an end user with an unwanted advertising. For example, it can redirect user to a website with promotional advertising, or it could like pop up in your news feed or something. So what an adware do is that it highlights weaknesses into a user security defense. It can be hard to remove, and it can even hijack your web browser as well, or create their own request. Then I have the last part, that is ransomware. So ransom is like someone who is asking for money. So what really happens in ransomware is that these are the programs that encrypt the data on a user computer and holds the data as hostages. So that means that they might would say that until you pay us this much amount, or until you complete this offer, we are not going to release your data. So just remember that. So just imagine that you just woke up and you just go into a computer, and suddenly you see that your computer, all of your data has been encrypted, and you have only one message available, that if you want to encrypt your data, you need to send this money to this person, and then your data will be like in the original form. So this is what happens in a ransomware. Like it asks you for ransom. So here is basically a short summary of all of the pointers that we have discussed. Can you please go through them and just notify me if you are clear with each and everything? Any confusion?
No, sir.
No.
No.
Now I'm going to move forward the fishing and the farming part. So phishing basically occurs when a cyber criminal sends a real looking like email to the user. So what happens is that your user is tricked. So the email might contain some fake websites, or fake websites to get or see your credit card or debit card information. So whenever you click on it, you are sent to a website that might look like it is real, but it is not. Like you can create a fake Facebook page, and but the user might enter the details of him into that, but just as he entered him, then his all of your important details will be hacked. So to keep yourself safe from phishing, what you need to do is that you need to look for the padlock icon onto your browser. This green signal means that the website is secured, and whenever you are visiting website, you need to make sure your address is correct. You need to ensure up-to-date browser. You can also check regular account check regular check of online accounts as well by changing password frequency and just not like allowing them to pop up again and again. So this is phishing. Then I have the farming. So farming is different than phishing, because in phishing, what you do that is that the user is sent to a real looking like email, but in farming, the malicious code, the harmful code installed onto a user's computer or an infected machine. So what will happen is that the code will then redirect the user to fake website without the user knowledge. So you have seen that sometimes we just open browser and it just keeps on redirecting us to different websites that we don't even to visit. So this is farming, because just as you go to that website, then you will be like forced to enter your details there. And this is basically an example of a farming.
If phishing and farming are malwares,
Hmm.
phishing and farming are malwares.
No, phishing and farming will not come under the title of malwares. I believe they are same, but these are the types of malwares. You have viruses, worms, Trojan horse, spyware, adware, and ransomware. Phishing and
Well,
hmm?
when you click on an adware,
Uh-huh.
adware contain harmful data, right? Like,
Yes. It's right here. It's a software that floods a user computer with unwanted advertising, usually in the form of different pop-ups like buy this, buy that, congratulations, you have won this, or maybe like with the games.
and so can you explain the roomsware one more time?
Hmm.
Roomsware.
Which one?
This ransomware. Sorry.
Okay, so what happens in ransomware is that if it infects your computer, then all the files into your computer system will be encrypted with an unknown format that is not openable. So you cannot access your file backs. And even if you try to click on that, it will state that you need to pay this much money to this, then all of your files will be encrypted back. So in ransomware, your files are encrypted, and if you want to like have them back, then you need to pay a sum of money.
It's the year 2015, and Richard has just finished playing games on his computer. After a long gaming session, Rich It's the year 2015, and Richard has just finished playing games on his computer. After a long gaming session, Richard tries to shut it down, but finds some random text file on the desktop that says ransom note. The text file mentioned how a hacking group had encrypted Richard's game files and private documents, and he had to pay a ransom of $500 worth of Bitcoin in the specified Bitcoin address. Richard quickly checked his files, only to see them being encrypted and unreadable. This is the story of how the Tesla Crypt ransomware spread in 2015, which affected thousands of gamers before releasing the master key used for encrypting the files. So, what is ransomware? For Richard to be targeted by such an attack, he must have installed applications from untrusted sources or clicked an unverified link. Both of them can function as gateways for a ransomware breach. Ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts personal information and documents while demanding a ransom amount to decrypt them. This ransom payment is mainly done using cryptocurrency to ensure anonymity, but can also employ other routes. Once the files are encrypted or locked behind a password, a text file is available to the victim, explaining how to make the ransom payment and unlock the files for it. Just like Richard found the ransom note text file on his desktop, even after the money has been paid, there is no guarantee that the hackers will send the decryption key or unlock the files. But in certain sensitive situations, victims make the payment hoping for the best. Having never been introduced to ransomware attacks before, this gave Richard an opportunity to learn more about this, and he began his research on the topic. The spread of ransomware mostly starts with phishing attacks. To know more about phishing attacks, click the link in the button above. Users tend to click on unknown links received via emails and chat applications, promising rewards of some nature. Once clicked, a ransomware file is installed on the system that encrypts all the files or blocks access to computer functions. They can also be spread via malware, transmitted via untrusted application installation, or even a compromised wireless network. Another way to breach a system with ransomware is by using the Remote Desktop Protocol, or RDP access. A computer can be accessed remotely using this protocol, allowing a hacker to install malicious software on the system with the owner unaware of these developments. Coming to the different types of ransomware. First, we have locker ransomware, which is a type of malware that blocks standard computer functions from being accessed until the payment to the hackers is complete. It shows a lock screen that doesn't allow the victim to use the computer for even basic purposes. Another type is crypto ransomware, which encrypts the local files and documents in the computers. Once the files are encrypted, finding the decryption key is impossible unless the ransomware variant is old and the keys are already available on the internet. Scareware is fake software that claims to have detected a virus or other issue on your computer and directs you to pay to resolve the problem. Some types of scareware lock the computer, while others simply flood the screen with pop-up alerts without actually damaging files. To prevent getting affected by ransomware, Richard could have followed a few steps to further enhance his security. One must always have backups of their data. Cloud storage for backup is easy, but a physical backup in a hard drive is always recommended. Keeping the system updated with the latest security patches is always a good idea. Apart from system updates, one must always have reputed antivirus software installed. Many antivirus software, like Kaspersky and Bitdefender, have anti-ransomware features that periodically check for encryption of private documents. When browsing the internet, a user must always check for the lock symbol on the address bar, which signifies the presence of HTTPS protocol for additional security. If a system is infected with ransomware already, there's a website, nomoreransom.org. It has a collection of decryption tools for most well-known ransomware packages. It can also help decrypt specific encrypted files if the list of anti-ransomware tools didn't help the victim. So, here's a question for you. What should be the first?
So I think we are done with this part, ransomware. So is it clear to you? Like what are the precautions and how to save it? Save yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, like in IGs, will these type of questions come? Like what the types of ransomware,
No, the only question
ransomware?
will be what is a ransomware and how you can protect yourself from ransomware.
Okay, so not this specific.
Yes, so you need to know the concept and you need to know how to protect yourself.
Okay, sir. Understood.
So that's it. Just after that, I have this a very small topic that is known as social engineering. So, social engineering basically occurs when a cyber criminal creates a social situation that can lead to potential victims dropping their guard, or it can involve like breaking the normal security procedures as well. So it's like sometimes it happens that these victims or these criminals make a situation like it gets really difficult for you. Like such as like you have anonymous phone calls, you have anonymous fake accounts, you have email phishing or scams that makes it really problematic for you. So I'm sharing this diagram with you as these words can be like quite important for you. So this is initially for social engineering. So, like, what are the five examples that involves the risk? Like, first of all, with the social engineering, it can cause fear of what? Like, people can started panicking into believing that this is a great danger, or thinking into that this is a really powerful and it can impact their personality. However, this is not the case. People can also be tricked into believing that they have definitely won a car or they have won 10,000 US dollars as per the normal ads as well. So it also sends the level of curiosity into them. So they are tricked by entering into their credit card or debit card details. And it's also like the empathy and trust as well, like a real belief that all genuine sounding companies can be trusted. So if you are ever have a phone call or something from anyone, so don't just attend it. So there is like no hacking involved until the user is willing to allow the cyber criminals to have access to that. And it only happens if you are just in a rush or you just makes a rough decision out of that. So for helping you out, there are four stages of this cyber criminal activity. Stage one is going to be the victims are identified, informations about victims are gathered. And stage two is that the victim is being targeted either through the phone call or the email. Stage three is when the attack on the victim is executed. And the stage four is when they gains access to your important information. Then I have this part like how to keep ourselves safe. And it's most probably the same thing that we discussed, but let's start this in into our next class, not today.